I want to say red oak, but it's in the red oak family anyway. Not sure what it is. I don't think it's pin oak. 6 inches off the core, 6 inches off the deck. The core is 6 inches off the deck. We're going to try and get a red oak 8x8 out of this. This core is way up. This core is 10, but probably the middle log's probably there. It's probably only 7. So we might have to raise this end up just a little bit. At least get it on the deck. See if we can get some 8x8s out of that. Red oak 8x8. And then we're going to try this one next. Man, I don't know. I know I can get 2 out of it. I'm hoping I can get 4 8x8s out of that. That'll be the next video. We'll see how big that is. But this one's not that big for an 8x8. I'll get it. But bark to bark is 15. This way it's 14. So you got 14 inch at really the big end. The small end's hard to measure because it's got that Y right there. But 14 inch, I should be able to get an 8x8 out of that. There and there. It's going to be close. It's going to be close. I don't know. They have those charts that'll tell you what an 8x8 can will get you, but I don't have one of those charts. So let's start it up and see what we're doing. Alright, let's try this. This is just a guess too. You just guess on, I don't want a bunch of big flitches off here, because I cut this up for firewood, so I don't want a bunch of big ass flitches off here. I'll probably just go down an inch at a time. But you just got to guess a good starting point and take off your flitches. There's no... Well, I'd like to have a laser. I can shoot down there and see what I get, but I don't have one yet. I've got my simple set it in inch. So that'll give me 7/8 inch board. And I'll use it for board and batten. Still gotta do that shed. And this should give me an 8 inch. Real close. So that should give me an 8 inch. Hopefully, we'll find out. Well, we're gonna kick the camera. We're gonna say that this is not a red oak. It's not even in the red oak family. So it's not a pin oak, and it's not a red oak. We're gonna have to say it's Burr Oak. The only reason is I know I've got 2 other Burr Oak logs from the same guy, from the same place. And it doesn't, put on your smell-o-vision, it doesn't smell like red oak. It doesn't smell like cat piss. Here, smell it. There's some spalting on the edge there, you don't see that. But, see, it doesn't have that red oak smell. It doesn't have that cat piss smell. So I'm going to have to go with Burr Oak, which he wanted red oak 8x8s. but any oak will be fine. This Burr Oak is more expensive actually than red oak, but I think it'll make a nice 8x8. It's just for decoration. 10 foot long 8x8s. Decoration for a she shed. For his hunting cabin, still. Oh, now we'll drop this. There we go. Drop that roller so you're not banging this log on it. That would hurt the roller. Get her at least halfway squared up. Lower your dogs a little bit. Oh, you can't see that, I guess. Square it up. And now look at that crack. That turned out perfect. That crack's right the correct way through there. If I was getting 1 inch boards, that crack, or 2 inch boards, that crack would be the right way. What are we at? About 8 on the crack. And this one, we're not going to go with the center of the log, or center of the we're not going to go with the pith again. We're going to go more in the center of the log, right there, which is right there. Can you see that? I don't know if you can see that, but that looks good. This is the fat end, remember? Not that that matters to me. Now we don't have a level, so we're just taking a guess. This corner here is always a good guess, and that doesn't look like too big of a flitch for firewood, so I'm going to leave it right about there. I don't know that I'll get my 8-inch wide, so I'm going to set my simple set for 1 inch again. I can get my 7/8 inch board again, so just so I'm not wasting that board. I'll definitely have to come down there. That's way too skinny. We'll probably have to come down 2 inches. This isn't even going to make a... This will just be firewood right here. That's not even going to make a board and back. We just barely took the bark off that. We're definitely going to have to come down another inch. We're getting into 11 and a half here. That's a little bit more than I wanted to. Actually turn off the diesel drip this time. So this one is nothing. This one's just bark. Look at that. Bark all the way through. That won't even make a good board and bat. There's nothing there. That's firewood. This one I might get a board and bat out of. This one's well, bark to bark, it's 8.5, 9. But wood, good wood, I got 7. Anything less than 6, I don't like to make a board and bat out of. But this is just for, this is my board and bat. So that's not a bad, I'll use that one. Look at all this bark over here. Damn. And then this one, I'm hoping is 8 inches through there. Oh yeah. Well, just barely though. 8.5, 9. That's the skinniest part. It's gonna be close for an 8x8. I think we'll get it. Oh, come on. Drop down there. There it goes. There's a big hump. A big limb somebody didn't take off. I've got a solid side on this side. I can drop the dogs all the way down. You see that log raise up? Got to bring it down. Diesel grip, turn it back on. Now we're getting into 9.5, which is okay. It looks like a pretty big chunk, but that metal goes down, so we'll be all right. That's a board and bat. And that's a nice looking piece right there. Turn off my diesel grip again. This is a pretty decent looking beam right here. I know she got a little bit of a crack right there, but that's going to be a decent looking board there. Wow, beam. This end kind of tapers off. That'll be okay too. You've got some character in it. It's solid, but it's a beam. It's a crack, and then right there's a crack along there too. It's not, I wouldn't say a crack, but it's a flaw. There's some rot in that, but most of that'll come off when I turn it over. So we still haven't don't know which side we're going to take off this rest of this 8 yet, so I'm not going to go down to totally 8 here. I mean, I can go down to right there. Right there is my 8. And I might just go down to there on this side. but I have to make sure that that side's good. So if I go 9 1/4, 9 1/8, I'll have a 1-inch board I can take off. Give me 8 1/8. There might be a 1-inch board in there, I don't know. Alright, so we're at 9 1/8. We're going to go down to 8 1/8, get our 8-inch beam out of there. Side's done. Here's the step. We're almost at 8 1/8 here. We're at 8 there. Woo. There's a nice board and bat there. Got a little knot right here in it. Still cutting straight. Now we'll hit 8 1/8. We'll have just a little bitty board. Maybe not even that. I mean, it's just, oops, take the simple set off. Here's the strap. So what we should do, or should have done here, if you want a true 8 x 8, is cut that off to about whatever, even a 10-inch camp. Just leave you a 10 x 10, and then let it set. Put it in your pile as a 10 x 10. Let it set for however long the customer can wait. Let it set for a year. And then come back. You know, even if you can only let it set for a month or two, it'd help. But let it set for a month or two, and then come back and get your 8 x 8. It will just letting it set will relieve some of that stress. The stress will come out in that log, and then a year from now, when you resaw it and make your 8 x 8, then you'll have a true 8 x 8. Right now, this end, if I had to guess, this end right here is going to be not quite 8. In the middle will be 8. And that end actually might be 8. We can see. That's actually 8, but this is probably the one that's going to be skinny because of the stress that I was getting out of this. That might be a 1/16 under 8 right there. But I bet we're right at 8 in the middle. And I bet you that far end is 8 x 8 too. But you've seen how that board would pop up here. That means this is going down and this is coming up. So that's why you don't get your true 8 by 8 on here. See, there's 8. And there's 8. That's actually almost a little bit fatter than that. Might be almost a 16th fatter than 8 right there. So that means this end will probably be skinny too. That's true 8. And that's almost a little bit fat for an 8. Maybe a 32nd over an 8. But you're getting rough cut lumber. This is not a 16th inch short because my bed's not level or my saw blade's not cutting level. That's almost a brand new blade on there. It's been sharpened once, but I mean, it hasn't been used. I cut one log with it maybe. And that's because of the stress in the log. It's not because you need to start leveling these beds, adjusting these beds and adjusting those bolts and all that. That's not what this is. This is a 16th short here, a 32nd fat down there, and a 32nd fat down there. That's rough cut lumber. You want an exact 8 by 8, take it out, let it set for a year, and then get you a planer and plane this shit off. And who has an 8 by 8 planer? You gotta have a handheld. Or you gotta be in the big business. But rough cut lumber, you're a 16th inch short here and a 16th inch fat, well, it's not even a 16th, but a 32nd fat down there. That's rough cut lumber. That's the stress in the log. That's not your mill. That's not your mill doing that. Now, if it does it consistently where it's always down here or something like that, you may have a problem. But you can't cut one log and say, oh, let's start leveling my bed. And then cut another log and start leveling your bed, and the next log you're gonna have to do is level your bed. You can't do that. That's what you get, rough cut lumber, 8 by 8. And that's a good looking beam. Put it in a she shed.